Now back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Gaston's White River Resort, and Barton Power Sports.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790. Talking outdoors every Saturday morning, our 16th year on the air. Over, what is it now, over 600 shows? Is it?
I thought it was 700.
700 shows, 760, something along the line. It started a long time ago. And breezing along this fourth Saturday on this, the 26th of March. Fourth Saturday means that Ron Wong for sure is here.
Good morning, everybody. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Yeah, you can't wait.
A nice Saturday morning.
you want to get out and do something, I know. So
well, I might try to wet a hook.
Yeah, and you love these when these turkey seasons start because that gets everybody off the water, right?
Well, it gets off some, but we've got to encourage more people to get involved hunting turkeys.
You do? Okay.
Yes.
And I know Frank Barton is switched, and so he's into this week. And, of course, if you hadn't got your ATV ready for turkey season, you're behind, right?
It's we go stealth when it comes to turkey. We do electric vehicles.
That's what I'm saying.
We go quiet.
They go quiet. I mean,
turkeys don't care.
Yes, they do. They do. They have if they can smell, they would never be killed. There's no doubt about it. And even if they can't smell, I can't kill them. So, and I'm afraid one of our guests, we don't have time to tell the stories today from these three guests. They could all tell stories on me, particularly one of them, and we won't let him. But, hey, we're really happy. I'm sure he'll work it in anyway. But from the TWRA, we've got Andy Tweed, who works right out of Shelby County here. Good morning, Andy.
Good morning. How are you?
We're doing great. How many years the TWRA for you, Andy?
I think it was 23.
23. Started when he was 12. So that's
I started when I was 9 years old.
9 years old.
But he's just like the rest of us. We're 18 years old by age.
Oh, that's for sure, yeah. And then not only Andy Tweed, we've got Ty Inmon out of Fayette County. Good morning, Ty.
Good morning, Larry. How are you?
I'm doing great. How long have you been with the TWRA?
20 years.
20 years. You're just a pup. And then, of course, from the place that I love to visit, one of my favorite spots in Henry County is in Paris, Tennessee, is my good friend Keith Hickman, the PGA pro up at Paris Landing State Park Golf Course. But also, do you do any turkey hunting, Keith?
If they let me off, I go once or twice a year.
Yeah, if they let you off. And who's the boss up there, Keith?
I guess that's me.
That's you, yeah. Hey, guys, let's talk a little turkey hunting now because I know this weekend is the young sportsman weekend for Tennessee, and I do not call it juvenile hunt because that makes everybody think they're at 201 Poplar, but we call it young sportsman, okay? So it's going on this weekend, but there's also another special hunt, and I wanted Keith on to talk about because I was involved in it when it started and still have a special heart for it. Keith, tell us about a special youth hunt going on this weekend.
It's 11th year for Hunting for a Cure.
Wow, 11 years.
11 years, and if we can do it, we've got 88 kids hunting today and tomorrow, and if we can raise $150,000, and we may get there, it will be $1 million raised for St. Hugh.
Did y'all hear that? That's an 11. Yep. That's an 11 years. You know, there you go. Yeah, let's. Man, I'm getting goosebumps because I mean, I know I was there when it started, and it's a great idea. And I know that I'm assuming the same folks are involved, right, Keith?
Well, some of them have gone, but we've got a lot of new ones, and of course, some of the old faces are still there, including myself. But considering we only raised, I say only, but considering we raised $3,500 the first.
That's right. Yeah.
To be at $1 million, right at $1 million this year, is just unbelievable.
Wow.
Absolutely unbelievable.
And 88 kids, and you got guides and everything that you're involved in. These guys donate their time, right?
Everybody's donated. Nobody gets one penny. Every penny raised goes straight to St. Jude.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And all of it's around what area?
And around Savannah.
Yes.
We hunt Hardin County and the surrounding counties. Of course, the landowners just 99.99% of them say yes. We hardly ever have anybody say no.
Yeah.
Take a kid and then donate the money to St. Jude.
And these kids come from where?
Well, the kids I'm going to be guiding in just a few minutes are going to come all the way from New York.
New York. That's just that blows my mind because I can remember the first one raising that much money, and to think in 11 years is what's so amazing. And you 88's about as you couldn't handle any more, could you?
That's pretty much maxed us out.
Yeah.
88, 90, that's about all we can do.
Well, it's just an amazing event, and to see these young kids out. And I know, Ty, in your capacity in Fayette County, you've been involved in a lot of young sportsman hunts too, and that's the way we get the kids in the sport, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I always try to take kids every year, deer hunting and turkey hunting. It's a great way to get them started. Well,
tell listeners what are you seeing, and you're in Fayette County.
It should be a pretty good morning. Our turkey population is down. We had a pretty good hatch last year, kind of coming back. But in the past several years, we've had some really bad springs, cold, rainy weather. It's real important we get some dry weather during the hatch year so those birds don't get pneumonia and die.
Yeah.
And we've been hit pretty hard. I'd say we've probably lost, 40, 50% of our population anyway.
Wow.
But we had a pretty good hatch last year. There was lots of jakes, but not a lot of longbeards running around. But it is good news. We did have a good hatch last year. Next year should be better, but I anticipate it being a pretty slow year.
And now, Andy, I know that you've been in our area for a long time, and the floods really affect us, don't they, Andy?
They really do. We've had, again, this spring, we've had an unusual wet spring, but at least it's warm. So if the birds will get to high ground and nest on the high ground, it looks like we're going to have a warm spring, even though we get a little bit we're probably going to have a wet spring again.
Yeah.
The birds should have a good hatch this year, but, boy, the past 2 or 3 years has been devastating. Even from 2011 on in the Mississippi River Delta, it's really taken its toll on them.
And again, we have Andy Tweed from the Shelby County Wildlife Officer, Ty Inmon from up at Fayette County, and our good friend Keith Hickman from up at Henry County. And Andy, you talked about it, and let's talk a little safety here with you and Ty. And I know that this is one of those sports that you have to you don't want the bird to see you because, as I said off the air, if they could smell you, never kill them. But they have unbelievable eyesight and things like that. Let's talk safety with you guys a little bit. Andy, some tips for people that are getting out this weekend for the youth, and next weekend is opening weekend.
Okay, well, the first thing is, especially with the juveniles, you don't want to, quote, try to sneak up on birds.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible.
It is.
You never know if somebody else is set up. And, if you were to shoot, you got to remember, all the pellets and all that, that's a very dangerous situation. But also, you need to have permission where you're going and make sure you know if there's anybody else going to be on the property, where they're going to go.
Yeah. And I know, Ty, from your angle, you should always set up if you shoot left-handed or right-handed, always set up knowing which side the bird comes on. Now, this is a personal question to Ty because, you want to tell the story real quickly?
You should know that better than anybody.
Yeah, can you give an abbreviated version of that? Because, I hunted with Ty one time, and I don't know if I've hunted with him since because he doesn't allow me anymore now, but he says he's going to take me. But we were behind a tree. The bird came up on my left. I didn't know it was there. It gobbled into my ear. It scared me to death. I shoot left-handed. I couldn't get around. The bird was gone. Is that a kind of a short version? I mean,
that's pretty close. He was literally close enough for me to grab him by the feet. but when he gobbled, he was so close I couldn't hear the gobble. It was just boom, boom. And Larry was coughing that morning. He had a cough drop in his mouth.
When
the bird gobbled, he got so shook up, he swallowed the cough drop and got choked on it. Couldn't shoot the bird.
Okay, you've heard it now from those, so be careful with those cough drops in the woods. And be
note to self, don't be eating cough drops.
Yeah. But I'm telling you, these birds can be up on you, and it's just amazing. So Ty, let's give us some, from your angle, in other words, be careful with cough drops. But there's a lot of other things involved in this thing. I mean, what's the closest you've ever killed a bird?
Probably 3-4 yards, something like that.
Did y'all hear that?
Had several less than probably.
Heck, you can grab them at 3 or 4
That's
yards.
what he was saying. Why did I just grab? Why didn't I grab this one? Well, but over the years the beard has gotten longer too, and my cough drops got bigger. So he's have a tendency to do that. But so I know, Keith, from your perspective up there, you see many birds in Henry County. Always one of the places that usually has a pretty good hatch.
Well, we're a little bit better shape, I think, in some of the counties, especially along the Mississippi River.
Yeah.
All the drainages down that way. We really, the last couple of years, had decent hatches, and then last year we had, I think, a phenomenal hatch. And I think we're going to have a good season here in the county, but I'm thinking next year is going to be really something. I've seen more jakes out this spring scouting than I have in a long, long time.
Really? Okay. Well, that's everybody just left to head to Henry County here. So
please do.
Yeah, that's where get off the Kentucky Lake.
Hardin County's the place.
Hardin County's the place. Okay. All right. That's anyway away from here. But what about you guys as your officers? I know you guys don't get to spend a whole lot of time hunting on opening day and things like that. What do you guys? We've talked about. The safety side, but there's also the dark side of this thing, guys. And Andy, what do you caution people? Because you can, get all that stuff up if you got anything on the ground 10 days before, right, Andy?
That's right. Well, you've got that, but the biggest problem we have in Shelby and probably in Fayette, some of the others, is hunting without permission.
Yeah.
Say you're hunting on the farm, you got 50 acres, and the birds typically are always 200, 300 yards off the property line, and what happens? They go over there. Anyway, that's you really got to have permission where you're going to be.
How about that, Ty?
That's correct. That's probably my biggest problem, actually, all deer season and turkey season. But turkey season, probably 75% of the complaints that I get is hunting without permission. It's a real problem, but just remember, if you get caught, there are fines, and you can lose your hunting privileges. If you lose them in one state, you lose them in pretty much all states across the United States. We have a compact agreement now, so we're real strict on that. That means if you lose them here, you lose them in other states. So just be careful what you do, and make sure you go out and look. If you've had bait out, make sure it's all gone. Remember, it has to be gone 10 days prior to hunting in that area. So if you're hunting with somebody, make sure you know who you're going with, and make sure all the bait's up.
And it's really simple to go to all the people around the area that you're hunting and just ask. Right. I mean, just get that permission thing and have it with you. I always had mine handwritten, so I got it in my pocket. I guess that's a good way to do it if you've got a landowner around there or something along that line. And, well, guys, thank you a whole lot. Andy, we'll be thinking about you and your dad down there in Texas. Thank you for taking time to be with us this morning. And, Ty, you too. And, Keith, tell everybody hello for the Hunting for the Cure, and be sure somebody gets us some information. We may check with you later and find out how everything went. I'd sure like to get the information on how things did, and we'll be talking. Okay, buddy?
Absolutely. I'll get it to you.
Thank you, guys. Y'all have a great day. We'll talk to you later. We got you. Thank you. All right, let's take a break on Outdoors with Larry Ray and switch gears a little bit right now and have a little Mid-South report. We got a special guest. She slipped in the studio here, and we'll probably just let her just take over the show. I know she's real ready to do this and everything. But Guy Treble's over here, too. He's taking notes. Ron Wong is checking on all the Ole Miss news. Frank Barton is making sure everything's going good over at the Barton Power Sports. They're getting ready to open, and you open up at 8, right?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. So we got about, an hour and a half, something like that. Okay. Get over there. And where you're located?
On the interstate right across from Southland Park Gaming and Racing in West Memphis that we all refer to as the Dog Track.
The Dog Track, you can't miss it. We'll be right back on Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790.